Now it says it's live. All right, woo! Suddenly, hello.
They are back.
Holy crap!
There we go. So I just want to get chat open. If it ever loads.
I don't think it's tweeted yet. Oh well, I'll do it myself.
And now the whole website is not working at all for me.
Oh, and because I can't change, because I can't load the page, it still says TVGP episode 296.
Oh man.
Oh, good times. Well, I just sent out a separate tweet being like, if you can load it, get it on. Oh, page loaded.
You ever consider going to YouTube?
There was something that stopped me from going to YouTube originally, and I don't remember what it was. Ugh, I wish I could remember. Yeah, I don't recall. Plus, I think the nice thing about Twitch is that it's gaming centric, so I felt like there might be better visibility there.
That is true.
I was hoping, at least.
Just seems like it. Like I have more technical issues just trying to stream things from Twitch than
Oh, really?
yeah,
Yeah,
than anywhere else.
I don't watch
Like
too
YouTube,
much.
I can stream to one of my tablets or my phone.
Yeah.
Twitch, I can't. Like it has the apps, but it doesn't work at all for me.
I haven't had too many problems with Twitch, but now that Valve and Twitch have partnered for the new Dota 2 streaming, I'm probably gonna need to start using Twitch a lot more.
Oh wow, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge.
As I've actually recently realized that I really don't like playing Dota 2, but I really like watching Dota 2.
That is.
It's so weird.
That's awesome, but yes, that is incredibly weird.
Yeah. I don't know what it is about about that game that I will just sit there and watch match after match, just sort of in the background too. It's really weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I played an hour and a half or so with Justin that one time, and like it seemed like an okay game that I did not want to sink the time into.
Yeah.
Like I say, okay, it seemed like a really good game that could be a lot of fun, but I want to play other games, and I feel like I wouldn't be able to if I got into Dota.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those singular sort of games. You can get a lot out of it if you put a lot into it.
Man, I don't know. How would you feel about starting like a Google Hangout for this episode? Just to get like a text chat going in case.
Sure. Let me see if I actually can.
Like I really am not fond of Google Hangout, but
let me see if. Where are you in my list? There you are. What? Alright, I'm trying to call you on Google Plus. Let's see. Okay, I guess I'll install the plugin.
oh, okay. So I gotta enable my circles. Okay.
Apologies for everyone watching this after the fact. Twitch is having some sort of technical problems. And people can't load it, and we're trying to do this other thing. Okay, so that's installed, so let me try video calling you again.
Ah, how do I answer? The box is open. Um,
Your microphone is not working or is hardware muted?
I hear it. I could say, okay, we'll do that.
Do,
Are
do,
we
do,
doing a
do,
video
do.
call in here?
I have no idea.
That's probably a bad idea. Um,
Oh. Oh man, how do we even...
God, yeah, I'm hearing doubles of you now, because, yeah, I don't think this is...
Alright, I just dropped out of there if we're hearing doubles.
Well, I thought they had just like a text hangout thing.
Yeah, I thought so too, but I've never really done...
Yeah, I've only joined other people's, and I've barely done that.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Oh, well, let's just soldier on and I will, I'll keep loading this during our show, and if it finally works, I'll tweet it out.
Okay.
Okay, are you ready?
Uh, just send out a
Oh.
tweet, and I am ready.
Hold on, I actually got it to load. Not episode 924. 024. Oh man, this commercial has a chocolate cake and it looks so good!
Man, Susie's been rewatching Black Butler all morning, and I don't know if you've ever seen it.
No, it's been on my list of shows to watch.
Yeah, it's only like a dozen episodes or so, or at
Oh,
least
I didn't know it was that short.
it's I'm pretty sure it's only a dozen episodes, but it's pretty short, and you don't want to watch the second season of it because they get real. Like the first season, I think is perfect how it is, and the second season is just kind of creepy and almost like it gets. It's like they listen to all like the fetishists from the first seasons that were their fans, and
yeah.
like we should really focus on that audience.
Yeah.
And put a lot of really like uncomfortable and disturbing things in the second season that I think really detract from it. But the first season, Susie loves the first season, and I haven't seen it all. But every episode, they always describe at least several desserts.
Oh, nice. In like...
So you come out of it just like, I need pie.
I need all of these things.
Just let's go to Cheesecake Factory. I'll order everything on the dessert menu.
Yeah, let's just go to some grocery store that I can get a bunch of cakes for real cheap.
Man, I need to not have these dice by me, or I will fidget with them the whole episode.
Alright, I was able to fire up Twitch and we are streaming, so at the very least we'll save it. Chat looks like it's having problems, but I'll keep an eye on it.
Okay.
But I am ready to start if you are.
I'm ready.
Alright, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of Picking Up the Pixels RPG Love. I'm your host, Boston, and over there joining me, as always, in our 2-member party, is Musum.
Salutations!
What I'm trying to think of a good RPG that had just a 2-member party.
Oh, geez, that's a hard one.
Most of the smallest ones I've thought of are 3-member. You know, like you can go look back at something like Jade Cocoon. I think that's had 3 members.
I think the Mana games are 3-member parties too.
Mm-hmm. Even Chrono Trigger's 3.
Yeah, I don't think they either go solo or they have party of three.
I wish chat was working right now because I'm sure somebody's like, but this one.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
All right, well, let's get right into it. Musum, what RPGs have you been playing this past month?
Okay. Well, I'll start out with the new stuff. So a while back, I pre-ordered Project X Zone, and I thought it came out in September, and was actually kind of planning on canceling it. So I was kind of surprised when Amazon sent me a notice that they were shipping it to
When it
me.
shows up.
It's like, well, oh well, there goes that bit of credit.
Yeah, here
But
on the live stream for everyone, I've got my limited edition copy sitting here, and I had the same thing. It showed up, and I was like, the what now? Oh yeah, that was
yeah.
coming out. Okay.
Have you tried this out at all?
No, I haven't even. I've been totally enamored with one of my games in my list. I haven't played anything else other than it
Gotcha.
lately.
So I was pretty glowing on this when I talked about it last week on the carousel, and I guess I'll start from the beginning. At first, like I was really like the game is so stupid that I loved it at
Yeah.
first, which lasted about 10 to 12 hours, because it was like all the battles. Well, I guess I should maybe start out with the combat. The way the combat works is it takes place on a tactics grid, and you walk up to a guy, and then it goes into the actual like battle thing where you input commands, and as you level up, you get more commands you can input. But like they're all the same commands for everyone.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's like you either press A or whatever it is, and then A with left arrow, A with right arrow, A with down, A with up, stuff like that.
So it's not like Xenogears, where each
Oh
party
no,
member had their
no,
own kind of like combo system.
no, that's way more complicated than this.
Oh,
This
interesting.
is a super simple. Like the thing about this game is you can make it sound kind of complicated, and it is super, super, super simple.
Okay.
Like it's really stupid simple. If you're one of those people that absolutely have to have a challenge out of a game, you will hate this game because it is not challenging. Like the only challenging part is paying attention to your guys' HP, so you don't accidentally lose the guy that makes you lose the whole battle.
Is
uh,
the whole because the whole draw to it originally seemed to be because it's a cross game between Namco Bandai, Sega, and someone
uh,
else.
Basically everyone.
Yeah, like
It,
basically everyone except for Square Enix that have ever made an RPG.
yeah, Bandai is one of them. Sorry, I'm flipping through the manual real quick. Like it has a lot of really cool. Like that is the appeal of seeing all these old, and they're all primarily B JRPG characters.
Well,
Um,
yeah, and it's kind of interesting seeing like, have you ever wanted to see the lady from Sakura Wars fight the lady from Valkyria Chronicles? Well, now you can.
yeah,
And
like
there's one person out
Cosmos
there
shows
like,
up.
oh yeah.
Like the prologue is so absolutely stupid ridiculous because you're like you go to this like okay they have a couple sets of characters, one of which is from Namco X Capcom.
Hmm.
And then they introduce a new set of characters, and each character comes in a pair of twos. Like,
Like
and
from each game.
um, they,
Sometimes
not
yes, sometimes
really.
no.
Yeah, you get a bunch of characters from
Okay.
each game, at least three from each game typically. But like I'm saying, like the unit you move around on the map is actually two characters.
Oh,
Uh,
okay, okay.
and they can be assigned a third as a support, and you can call like a support command and they'll come in, and you can call in if one of your guys is nearby, you can call them in to attack too.
Oh, okay.
So and once you're attacking the same time as one of those guys are attacking, it's called an X attack, which generates XP. But XP does not mean the same thing in this game that it does in every other RPG known to man.
Every other game forever.
Yeah, pretty much. XP is basically like your like a burst bar off of a 2D fighter game.
Okay.
Um, once it maxes out, like as it fills out, you get more options for moves you can do. But it's like super, super, super simple. So like while you're in battle, there's only one extra special move you can do.
Mm.
and everyone comes out and it does mega damage. But it's like near the beginning of the game, I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it was like Chun-Li and Morgan from Darkstalkers, or like walking around, and oh, there's Jin and some chick from Tekken, and they're gonna show
What?
up and talk, and we will greet each other. And hey, why not? There's Ryu and Kin, and
It's so
then
crazy
late,
seeing you guys here in Video Game Town.
yeah, and there's a bad guy we can all conveniently fight. Like the
It's,
story is,
it sounds an awful lot like Wreck-It Ralph.
it's.
They're all meeting in
Rick-
like the break room.
It's yes, it's like a really poor it's like if Wreck-It Ralph were like fanfic, it would be
Oh yeah. So and
like
then
as
Chun Li came in and she was all hello, and then Akuma came in from that one game and he
I
he did some stuff and then they fought.
it's like Harry Potter showing up and pulling off his pants away from being like fanfic to be blunt. Like it's so
I
bad.
mean, you haven't gotten deep enough in the game. Who knows?
Yeah, I haven't even run into all the characters, and like they don't like they just I finally like I'm 12 or 13 chapters in, and I looked it up, and I guess the game is 45 chapters long, which completely kills me probably ever beating it.
Crap.
Because the battles have gotten significantly longer. When I started the game, they were 15 to 30 minutes. I could play a battle on the bus or during lunch break.
Yeah, knock one
Now
out,
they're more
save,
like
get back to it.
exactly,
Yeah.
and now they're like about an hour, hour and a half. And
Ooh.
the reason is because every single character you get, you always get to use. So
Oh.
you'll have a 20 or 30 member team on the battle, and they will
Holy
introduce
crap.
enough enemies to keep all of those people occupied. And on top of that, they group you all into kind of the same corner. So it's not like you can. Your guys on the front lines get a lot more action than your guys on the back lines. You know, it's not like you. There's like a lot of strategicness to moving around the map or anything.
Yeah.
Um,
So
I think
it almost sounds like the game is too dumb for its premise.
it's it's just so dumb.
Because like it sounds like such a really cool game that if it could sort of get away from being so involved, it could be a lot of fun. We're just like,
Yeah.
have you ever wanted to see Ryu and Ken fight Cosmos and Shion? You know, it's like, well, I mean, maybe if it was almost like a what if from that comics do every once in a while.
Yeah.
You know?
There's a number of things they could do to fix it. They could let you, like, I think one really entertaining aspect could be if you could break up your pairs and rematch them with people.
Yeah.
That would be a ton of fun. But they don't let you do that, and you can only change out your support guy.
Oh.
So, like, I never can say her name right, but Hisenko, the dead girl from Darkstalkers,
Yeah.
is always going to be paired with like Frank West for the entirety of the game,
Oof.
evident.
Weird.
And it's like that's not the pair I would choose. I honestly, as boring as it might initially sound, like I'd like to pair Hisenko with Morgan just to hear their
Yeah.
banter,
Yeah.
or even like her with or Dante. Her and Dante would probably be fun too, since they're
Yeah.
both kind of demon hunter types. Oh, and the other big slap in the face for this game, Valkyria Chronicles 3 characters are in it.
Whoops.
It's like, thanks, Sega.
Wah, wah.
Just rub it all the way in. I'm sorry I didn't buy your Valkyria Chronicles 2 from PSP after you released the amazing first one for PS3. I was a little
Yeah.
let down.
Well, it sounds like one of the biggest changes they could make too is limiting party sizes, just in general. Because
Yeah.
like most SRPGs do that, some to a really serious degree. You know, like Final
Well,
Fantasy Tactics, where it's like this one dude is going to fight 20 dudes in this battle. Good luck.
yeah. No, I've only had one battle where they did it to me, and like when I started the battle, I'm like, oh, they must not expect me to beat this guy, and then I hit a game over screen, and I'm like, okay, I was wrong.
Also known as the Breath of Fire 3 problem. Where it's like, this one little kid is supposed to fight these two giant dragons. I'm not. I'm supposed to fail this for the story. Oh, game over. Okay. Alright. I don't know how I'm supposed to do this crap.
It's like This game is so like I kind of like the music in it, and I love like a lot of the sprite work and seeing all these characters as sprites.
Yeah.
Um, I love the idea of matching all these characters, but yeah, they really needed to just like they put you on a direct linear path, and so far all the story beats have been the exact same. You walk through a door intending to go somewhere, wind up in somewhere entirely different, and
Oh
then
no,
bad guys
now we're in
show up.
Valkyria Chronicles. Whoa!
Pretty
It's
much.
like a Doctor Who episode.
Like bad guys show up, random villain from one of those games show up, then
Yeah.
random good guy shows up, and then you have your banter. Like it's like a really bad D&D party where you have the new guy join, and they're like, "Our party doesn't trust you yet,
Yeah.
sir."
Look, the villain. Ha ha! I twist my mustache.
But it's and another neat thing that I didn't realize they would do is like the level ground, like the old Sega game.
Hmm.
Just why not?
Yeah.
Sure. That's a neat idea. Like just to have all these characters randomly show up in games where there aren't characters. I mean,
Yeah.
that would be nice. But I do got to say that Arthur from Ghost and Goblins is fairly entertaining
Oh, nice.
because he randomly is naked and is always confused as to why he's randomly naked.
That's actually really good. Like that's the sort of humor I would expect from that
It's
sort of game. Like if you're gonna buy a multi-company smash up SRPG, like you should really go pretty deep on some of the calls from each individual game because those are probably the only people that are gonna be buying it.
Yeah, and I haven't heard half these characters, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like they have characters from freaking what is it, Super Robot Wars, and I've never played any of those because I've always been bitter about the American versions and
Yeah.
never getting like the Gundam licenses in it.
Well, and
Uh,
like if you look at the cover of the game, they have Mega Man, but then they have like Ulala from Space Channel 5, that kid from Dot Hack. Like,
Yeah.
just crazy. The lady from Sakura Wars, which I think
the
we've gotten one of those games.
the dot hack kids, like it cracks me up for the wrong reasons because their dialogue is always the same. You walk into a new room and they're like, "We got to get back to our real bodies."
It's like, yes, kid, I know. Ugh.
Every single time, like it never
Have you heard
changes.
about our real bodies?
I but it's I do have to say the I think my favorite exchange of dialogue so far has been like you've gotten all these like uber sexy Japanese whatevers. Like I
Mhm.
guess one of the chicks from Endless Space or Saga or something like that.
Oh, that
Like
Sega DS game.
I don't know. All the
Yeah.
guys in the game keep oogling her, and then you run into two characters from Tales of Vesperia.
Oh, nice.
And the female was really excited because she thought she was going to meet a princess, and then she meets this chick and is like immediately disappointed.
Oh, who was it from Tales of Vesperia? Was it the main male character, and then?
I think so. He had because I've never played it. He has black hair that's kind
Yeah.
of long, and then the princess.
Oh, nice.
The
Okay, the two main
blonde hair.
characters. You should also play that game. It's really good.
I want to. I don't. I'm a bad person and have a body. I need to. I wonder if they have it pretty cheap on Xbox Digital.
Well, probably. I think if it's on there, it's only $20. I think you can typically find it brand new for $20 now. I think they printed too many copies because it did really well.
Hmm. Yeah, I really do need to play that. But I guess my final word on Project X Zone is it's a game that probably isn't worth $40. If you ever buy it, you probably shouldn't expect to beat it. But if you're ready for just a really super dumb Japanese teen up that is written about the quality of fanfic but has good sprites
Yeah.
and is an okay time waster, you can easily watch a movie while playing it, for instance. Then I think it could be worth $10 or $20.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But other than that, buy SMT4.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because
I
it's
mean,
probably going to be okay.
it's almost guaranteed.
Yeah.
I also excuse me. I played a tiny bit of Skyrim this time. I started the Dragonborn DLC. It's nice going back to Morrowind, but it bothers me because Morrowind like is half Morrowind and half Skyrim.
Yeah.
Um, and I think I've reached my Skyrim limit for a while. Um, I put a lot of time into it. It's still a great
I
game,
was
but
just about to say, like, how long is your limit? Like 150 hours or something?
yeah, pretty much.
So now we know.
Because like I got to the island and started talking to people, and every other person I talk to needs something and wants to tell me their life story, and I'm like, I need a break, man.
Yeah, you're RPG hero weary, where it's like, how many bear pelts do you need? What do you want?
Yeah.
Like, you can't.
You want me to go kill what now?
Yeah.
So someone stole something to you. You just want me to go talk to him because I can go talk to him.
Yeah, do you want me to beat him up? Because I'm real tired. I don't know. That sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah. So Dragonborn probably really good. I probably won't know for a long time.
Yeah.
Um, Played a little bit more Mass Effect 3 multiplayer.
Nope, frozen.
On that too. Um, I don't know. I've unlocked a bunch of classes in that now. Like there's one called the Quarian Marksman, which is like this male Quarian who uses like a sniper rifle, and uh, he's a really cool support class because unlike like the Volus or something like that, where it's entirely support and you're only healing people, he gets the benefits of like sniper and weapons, but also gets this power that lets him highlight an enemy and increases like damage and things to that enemy.
Oh,
Um, so he's kind of solid. You won't like get the most points in the match with him, but as long as you put a bunch of points into shields and things, you'll live longer than everyone else and be pretty helpful.
I kind of like that because I really respect what BioWare did with the multiplayer DLC for this game. Um, and I feel like they haven't gotten a lot of love for it, but I mean, they could have really easily sold character packs and just made them basically skins, where it's like $10 for a Volus pack, but guess what? There's still assault class, brr, 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 but like they've made a Volus class that sort of makes sense in the universe, and it plays totally differently from everything else that's been in the game.
Yeah, man, the Volus classes are weird. I've unlocked a few of them now, and like their melee turns them invisible. Um, they all have a skill called I think it's called shields or something like that, where basically it regenerates everyone in the vicinity's shield.
Hmm.
And it can of course have other effects too, but it's all support effects. Um, One of the Volus Engineer class is entirely support. He has almost like he comes with some mines, but one of them's a mine that like you throw it like to an area of the arena, and any enemies that are in the vicinity of that mine will show up, so you can
Oh,
see if there are guys back there and
that's
see where
kind
they
of
are.
neat.
Like it's real useful. They came up with some really creative classes, and I'm pretty excited to see where they go with this. But I don't know. I can only because like in that game, you're kind of grinding until you can buy your next pack to try and get a weapon upgrade or a new character. Like that's kind of
Yeah.
your carrot at the end of the stick. Um, they did introduce a lot of challenges where you can get like banners for your name in the when you're in the matchmaking area and things like that.
Yeah, sort of like Blizzard started doing.
That I Yeah, they do that, don't they? I
Yeah.
barely play any Blizzard games anymore, so I'm not super familiar. But I don't know. It's still good. I'm probably gonna take a little bit off of it. So speaking of games with character packs, I downloaded Marvel Heroes. Uh,
Oh yeah.
that's the Ultimate Alliance slash Diablo Marvel game. So I had a lot better experience with this than I did in beta, since I actually really got to play it. Because in beta, like it was too hard to connect to any servers for me.
Yeah.
But the thing is this game's free to play, and you get a selection of like 5 or 6 characters at the start. And there's a good chance, like if you're just a Marvel fan for Wolverine or Hulk or something, that your character will not be in those startup characters.
Yeah. The startup
You
characters
get like
seemed really weird. Like one of them was oh god, I can't remember the names now.
well, there's Storm, Hawkeye, and that's all I remember
The
from the startup
Thing is
characters.
another one.
Yeah.
Wanda Maximoff. I think is the other one. I
Oh,
don't
Scarlet Witch in there.
Scarlet Witch, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like just really sort of weird. Like I would expect Scarlet Witch to not be a free one, you know, because like I'm sure there's some Scarlet Witch fan out there who's gonna like totally drop $15 on like, oh, I get to play as her. Oh, it's got this costume,
Yeah.
sweet.
Well, and really, it's. I think Harlow at North Quarter said it best, and I'm paraphrasing, but like, really, you want to look at the game as in you pick one or two characters that you want to buy. They're all about $10 a piece,
Hmm.
and stop looking at it as a free game and look at it as a. I just spent $20 to play as these characters through this kind of multiplayer Diablo world.
Yeah, look at it as like a $20 game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's. I haven't bought any characters yet because, like, I picked Storm starting out. And I thought I would just get to the point where I could get to the store and then buy me like I don't know, Rocket Raccoon or Cyclops or something.
Someone kind of crazier.
Yeah, a character that I have an affinity to, you know.
Right.
And honestly, after playing Storm, she's really, really kind of awesome.
Hmm.
Because and I don't know if all the characters are like this because I barely played with anyone else, even though there were a billion people in my game. But like. Her powers just go all over the screen. Like this is like Torchlight level of.
Of like crazy stuff popping off.
Yeah, like she has a power where she calls down like 3 lightning bolts and like jumps back, and it takes up like half the screen.
Jeez.
Her all of your skill tree stuff. The more points you pump in it, the graphic for them changes.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So your initial like lightning bolt she shoots down just gets bigger and bigger. And will eventually start affecting like guys around it. She has a lot of cool power. She has a wind power that is like a force field thing that pushes everyone slightly away from her. Then she has another wind power that knocks people on their feet. Whenever she throws a car, she picks it up with the wind.
Nice.
Just a lot of really, really cool stuff in it. The all the equipment in it doesn't change your appearance unless you are one of the lucky people who just randomly find a costume on the ground, because those unfortunately cost money.
Yeah.
But like all the stuff you find are all pieces of their costume they're already wearing.
Oh, okay. That's kind of cool though. At least it
Yeah.
keeps. At least it's consistent.
Yeah. It's like I thought it would be weird, but I mean, at the same time, like Wolverine will find claws on the ground, like, which is kind of weird, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I know because I found a pair of them.
Yeah, that was always sort of weird when you were playing like the old Raven ones, like X-Men Destiny 1 and 2, and then Ultimate Alliance. You're sort of
yeah.
playing as Wolverine picking up claws, and you're just sort of like, this is kind of weird. Like, I get it, because it's an RPG, but I don't know, man.
Yeah, I like it. It's the man. I wish I would written down some of the names for them because they do get kind of comical at times. But it's probably the weirdest part about the game is almost everything instantly regenerates. When you pick up and throw a car, the car's immediately back where it was after you throw it.
Interesting.
Enemies come in huge waves, but I don't know. This last week they did a rebalancing patch on it, and I haven't had a chance to jump in since they did that. But it's a neat game. I'd like to play more, but at the same time, I also would still like to unlock some characters I didn't have.
Yeah.
The quest system probably could use a little bit more work in it, because I accidentally completed Chapter 2 without finishing all the quests,
Oh,
and it would not let me go back to get the other quests.
God, that's weird.
Like, I had to reset the entirety of Chapter 2.
That's so confusing.
Yeah. Like, I was totally on board with the game until it did that to me, and it kind of killed a bit of my momentum. But I'm still entirely ready and willing to give it another try. So
Yeah. Well, and the best part about it, too, is it's free to play, so there's
exactly.
the only risk you have is hard drive space.
Pretty much. And I don't think it even takes up that much.
I think I downloaded it, maybe it was 3-4 gigs. I mean, it was pretty tiny.
Yeah. And it looks and plays great. I haven't had much in terms of like lag or anything like that. I do get the occasional thing where I'll walk in the room and kill a guy or two, and then all of a sudden I'm in the hallway before the room and those guys are alive again.
Yeah.
But that's like once an hour type thing.
Yeah, that's like standard online game stuff.
Yeah, but I don't know. I enjoyed it. Um, Also, for some reason, I got an itch to go back and beat Quest for Glory 4, which I did.
Okay.
The ending to that game is so absurd because, like, at some course during, I'm going to spoil bits and pieces of 20-year-old games, so I
Yeah,
hope
I think
everyone
we're
can deal.
okay.
Or I guess 30 years now. What year is it?
Yeah.
But um, anyway, so you walk in like at some point in the game you meet a jester who's lost his sense of humor,
Hmm.
and it's because he's been cursed of by Baba Yaga, and you go and do that thing, and then he tells you the ultimate joke and tells you to hide it and save it, and then at the end of the game, you're confronted by this vampire chick who kind of has a thing for you, but thinks you tried to kill her. And then Ad Avis, the villain from Part 2, who's been turned into a vampire by her. And Ad Avis's goal is for Katrina, is her name, to kill Katrina so he will stop having to do what she says and summon the dark Cthulhu monster thing himself.
Yeah.
Um, and the way, like my guy's a mage, so I cast a spell on him. He's like, "You can't hurt me. I have lots of magic." And so the way you distract him is by telling him the ultimate joke.
Nice.
It's dumb. It's awesome. That game has some really like unsettling moments in it, though. Like I say, unsettling. Basically, there's a little. You find out the innkeeper and his wife lost their daughter.
Hmm.
And you find out that she has been turned into a vampire and run into her. And her bodyguard is Bigfoot, who evidently started. Like I guess the story is this Bigfoot creature started visiting her at her window, and she named him Toby,
Okay.
and they were friends. And Katrina shows up and talks her into leaving, saying that once their parents find out about Toby, they won't want her anymore. So she runs away and gets turned into a vampire. Um, so the way you turn her to, like the way you save her from being a vampire is you go to this magical staff you want to obtain. Um, and Toby sacrifices his life so that she can have life again.
Oh,
And
okay.
then you get the staff. Like, it's kind of a sad moment.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, I thought that was
Yeah.
going to happen, but that's a
Yeah,
bummer.
yeah. The voice actress for the little girl is really annoying, though. Like,
Oh.
is really bad. Um, because it's that extra. God, I don't even. It's that extra cutesy but super innocent voice thing that some
Yeah.
voice actresses did back in the '90s and
Oof.
did not work. So anyway, after beating that, I imported my character into Quest for Glory 5 and started that up, and immediately found out that Quest for Glory 5 is going to be an entirely different game from the rest of the series, and then didn't play it because I didn't want to learn the new mechanics just then.
Ah.
Like it actually looked like it might be more RPG than an adventure game to me, which really trips me out.
Yeah.
So I hear it's still really good, but I won't know for a while. So instead, I went and started a fighter on Quest for Glory 1 because I want a paladin. They get a flaming sword. And then lastly, don't get your hopes up too much when I say this. I got a copy of Final Fantasy V. Um, I dug around on the Amazon buyer page and found a used copy that came with like the book and the box for like $20.
For
So
Game Boy Advance?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and
Good
plugged
choice.
that in, and I thought, screw Boston's advice. I'm gonna do the job thing, and
Yeah.
tweeted to it, and my jobs were like Black Mage, Red Mage,
Hmm.
Beastmaster,
Uh-huh.
and then I can't remember the third one. It all sounded like way too hard for me to do my first time. Like,
That's actually
I got to the point where I
it's a pretty
turned
good
everyone.
party, actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Beastmaster is surprisingly I've never played one too much, but Beastmaster is surprisingly powerful because you can capture enemies and release them back onto another set of enemies. And there are monsters in the game that are very, very, very powerful if you release them very early in the game.
Hmm.
But I'd have to know what your fourth party was. You're a
Fourth
fourth
is
member.
Samurai. I just looked it up.
Oh, God, that's a good party.
Is it? Is it? Okay, okay. Well, give me some, because I still have my save game. I haven't
Sure.
started a new game since then. I kind of hit all the black mages, and then like one or two of my guys died, and then I went to a village to try and res them, but the pirate guy, I forgot his name,
Ferris.
he runs off, and so I can't resurrect him, and that really bothers me.
Yeah, okay. So, okay, yeah, you're at this really weird point of the game. So Black Mage was your first job?
Yes.
Okay, so, Black Mages, White Mages, are the weakest at the very beginning, if you're doing the 4-job fiesta. And basically, you need to farm enough money to get all 4 of them, daggers before you continue. And this is where you're going to have the hardest time. The rest of the game is going to be very, very easy. And the real big thing is just grinding a little bit at the beginning for money and make sure you have all the spells before you leave that first town. Resing that character is going to be really tough because of where you're at in the story. You'll be able to, once you clear that story point. Did you already do the Wind Shrine?
Well, yeah, that's why everyone's black mages.
And then the next part is...
Like, I'm actually at the point where I'm willing to start over the game because I'm only half an hour or 45 minutes. Like, it was pretty quick getting there.
You've never played 5 before, right?
No,
Okay,
my
so
first time.
this is the really weird sticking point at the beginning of this game, is in that town you're in, you have to go all the way to the top middle, and there's a separate house right across a bridge. Go talk to that dude, and it'll start this whole storyline thing, and then go to leave the town, and Ferris will stay with you permanently at that point.
Okay.
And then you can go back in the town, res him, get all the stuff set up.
Okay.
But man, you actually have a really good party because so there's are you playing a regular run for the Fiesta?
Cut out a bit.
Oh, sorry. Are you playing a regular run for the Fiesta? You just did #REG?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Because there's a bunch of runs that would mitigate the advice I'm going to give you. So there's a secret to Final Fantasy V that a lot of people don't know because you never have to use it in a normal playthrough, and it's breaking rods. So basically, when you go, and it's especially important for black mages and time mages, but if you equip your character with a rod, and then you go into, when you're in the battle, you go into the item menu and you hit up, there will be another menu that drops down, and you'll see the rod you currently have equipped, and you can use it. So, you can only use it once, though. But if you use, like, a Frost Rod, for example, it casts Blizzara. And so you can get these really high-level magic spells for 750 gold a pop for each one of these rods. So, like, for the Fire Crystal, there's a boss who's just... It's called Living Flame. And 2 of these things will totally destroy him if you break 2 rods.
Oh, wow.
So some of that stuff is pretty good at the beginning. You're going to have a lot of trouble with Garula, who's going to be your most hated boss, because you're not going to have a lot of really good healing until you get to the Red Mage. And Garula attacks... Every time you hit him, he counters. So for a party full of black mages, that's really tough. But you're lucky that you have red mages, so everybody can learn red. So everyone can have the first 2 levels of black and white magic. So you'll totally be able to heal yourself as soon as you get that. Beastmaster, I don't know too much about. I would look at the NeoGAF forum, because there's a lot of people that'll say, like, hey man, I have a Beastmaster, I've never played as this guy before, what do I do? And man, Samurai is the best class you can get to play that game the first time. They have a skill called Zenigage, which throws gil at enemies, and it does damage based on how much money you have. And you can
So that's why that tweet said 0 gil for you or something like that.
exactly you can have you can easily do like 15,000 points of damage to an enemy if you have a lot of money.
Man.
And it's especially important for the second part of the game. There's three parts of the game, and I won't spoil it for you. But the second part of the game, you fight 4 crystals, and they sort of all have to die very quickly and at the same time. One samurai that just does that to the enemies, one shot kills them all.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
It's pretty nuts. So you have a pretty great party. I would recommend. If you start running into problems, I almost wanted to say stick with it, and I'll talk about my experiences in a little bit, because it's really fun trying to figure out how to beat the game using the tools that you're given. Because the game, Final Fantasy V, is so much deeper than it seems on the surface, because they developed the game to be played with any combination of classes, truly, which is insane. So there's definitely a way to beat the game with the group you have, and your group isn't that bad. But it might be sort of weird playing it the first time like that. But who knows? It could be very possible. So
Man. Okay. I will. You've reinvigorated me because
yeah.
I need a handheld game to play, and Project X Zone is not. It's probably done.
Yeah, Final Fantasy V is just long enough. If you get a really good party, Final Fantasy V is probably only about 20 hours long. If you get a party that's really tough, you could be like 40 hours, like max, and that most of the time might just be grinding.
Okay.
So
I'll get back to it today then.
Yeah.
Because like hearing everyone talk about it, like, has just gotten me really excited about it. But I've always been bummed because I don't have the GBA version. But
Yeah,
problem solved now.
the iOS version actually isn't that bad. I was playing that a little bit. It looks like most of Square's recent remasters do, but it has all the content in it, which is nice. And it has the GBA translation, which is good. But yeah, you're gonna have a little bit of problems at the beginning of the game. But if you keep having problems, post in the TVGP Forge Out Fiesta thread that we got going on.
Got it open right now.
A bunch of people will come in and help you out.
Man, sounds good to me. But yeah, that's all I've played.
All right, before I talk about Final Fantasy V more, my girlfriend and I, the new Borderlands 2 DLC recently came out, the Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep. And man, that is easily the best DLC for Borderlands 2. Genuinely really funny. So for anyone that hasn't played or doesn't know, the basics are that Tiny Tina and 3 of the original Vault Hunters are playing D&D. But it's called Bunkers and Badasses, but you got a D20, 1D20 and all that stuff. And everything that Tina says and does while she's running the game as DM reflects in the world for your Borderlands 2 characters. So one of the early examples is you get off the docks and it's this beautiful, amazing, sunshiny day with rainbows and butterflies and stuff. And somebody asks her, like, well, you said the land was in peril. That doesn't sound right. So she says, "Oh, right. It's all nasty and stuff, and everything's gone all wrong." And right in front of you, everything turns really dark, everything turns really gloomy, and then skeletons start popping up. So like they use that to really great lengths throughout the entire thing. Like everything is changing. Once at one point the game is unbalanced, and you run into like a level 85 enemy. The max level you can hit is an airplane.
Yay!
The max level you can hit is like 60. So while you're trying to fight these things off and run away from them, she's rebalancing the game. Like really good D&D humor, and then a lot of really great geek humor throughout the entire DLC. Super great raid boss. Definitely will not spoil those for anyone. A lot of really great quests, a lot of really great jokes, and a really solid and surprisingly touching ending to Borderlands 2 in general. It seems like I don't know if they'll be doing a season 2. I would really like them to, because a lot of this DLC has been really great. But they kind of put a cap on Borderlands 2 as a whole, and I really liked that they took the opportunity to do that and kind of put some meaningful story stuff in a good piece of DLC. So man, if anyone has Borderlands 2 and you have to, my recommendation, and it seems like their recommendation is you have to finish it at least once, because I think the DLC starts at level 30, and it has spoilers like right at the beginning. But if you have Borderlands 2 and if you liked the good pieces of DLC, like the 1, 2, like 1 and 2, because the third one wasn't super good, absolutely pick this one up. Super great. I can't recommend it enough.
I didn't realize it was part of the season pass. I thought the season pass was done.
No, this was the last one for the season pass. So this one, so you know that there's been a lot of content for this game that's come out. They just put out more costumes.
Yeah.
They're like $1 a piece, which is sort of the good price for it. But 4 pieces DLC, 2 brand new characters, all this other stuff. Golden keys are still coming out like once a weekend. My girlfriend and I, when we hopped back in, we hadn't played for probably about a week or two. We went and redeemed a bunch of golden key codes, and we had 10 keys apiece. Like there's so much stuff coming out for this game, and there's just so much stuff to do. We haven't even seen everything. Just recently I stumbled upon that Minecraft Easter egg from the original game, from the original stuff in Borderlands 2, and I had no idea it was there. So we went there and fought some creepers.
See, I've never found the Minecraft area in it.
Yeah, I never would have unless I stumbled on it online. It's pretty hidden, but it's kind of fun to go there and get, like, there's a head and a skin you can get in there, and they're both Minecraft themed. So that's pretty fun. But man, Borderlands 2 is just so damn good. I know I've talked about Borderlands 2 a lot, probably pretty much every month on this show. But man, especially if you have someone to play it with, and doubly that if you can manage to play it couch co-op with someone. Just really some of the best experiences I think we've had playing games, and I can't recommend it enough. I did play a little bit more Dragon's Dogma over the month, and I wanted to get back to it, and it kind of kept getting moved down on my pile of shame. But I don't remember if I talked about finishing that game last month.
No, I don't believe you did.
Okay, that game is nuts. Just the ending of that game is. I'm certainly not going to spoil it for anyone. But
I listened to like a giant bomb spoiler thing on it, so I already know. But
yeah,
definitely for the audience.
Just I don't. What? Like it makes sense, and it's kind of a really cool ending, and it really makes New Game Plus make a lot of sense, which is kind of crazy for an RPG. But man, that game is just a hell of a ride. Like, it's certainly not a perfect game, and most times it's not a really well-made game. And a lot of times it's unbalanced and just weird. But it's just such a, like we were talking about earlier, like a singular experience. Like, you've never played a game like Dragon's Dogma, and I fully expect I'll never play another game like it again. and I kind of really like that about it.
Do you think did it do well enough to warrant a sequel, you think?
I think so, and it makes me feel a little bit better that Dark Arisen stuff happened, and that they went back and sort of fixed the game and cleaned it up a little bit. I would really love to see a sequel that had just a little bit more time spent on it, because I think a lot like Deadly Premonition, part of the appeal of the game is that it doesn't look super great, but it has this huge giant open world that has no loading screens. So like you can sort of balance some of that stuff, but um, I'd like to see them make another one that maybe had a little bit more variety to missions, maybe, and a little bit more, maybe a little bit of a bigger world. Because I think the world is actually really big, but once you get down to exploring sort of the four corners of it, you realize that it's not. It has a lot of variety, but once you get to like the big cities in each area, there's not much else to do outside of that stuff.
Mm.
So, but I mean, those are really small complaints about a really, really, really great game.
Yeah.
And I think if you're listening to the show, it's probably worth a shot. I know Dark Arisen retailed for $40, and you can probably find it in a bargain bin for even cheaper. Make sure you get both discs though, because the second disc has an HD texture pack install on it that makes the game look really pretty nice. But yeah, it's just good fun. Like it's a fun game to play. And a lot of times we get RPGs that have great music or have a good story or has an interesting job system like Final Fantasy V. But playing it, battle to battle isn't always that interesting. And I feel like that's one thing that Dragon's Dogma did really well is battle to battle, encounter to encounter was always really fun and always really interesting. And we don't always get a lot of that.
Well, Amazon Prime has Dark Arisen for $30 for both platforms right now. So
there you go. Go out and purchase.
I'm really broke right now, or else I would have bought this game a month or two ago. But it's
Yeah.
probably, for me, unfortunately, it's probably going to have to wait till September or October.
Well, the
So,
cool part,
we'll see.
especially about the pawn system, is that everyone's pawns will still be there. So you can just hop in there and get some high-level pawns from a bunch of your friends. And
That sounds so awesome.
yeah,
Like
it's
it
super
sounds
cool.
like you really take a lot of the grind out of the game by doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Or like if you really want that challenge, then run around with no pawns. Or if you want the medium challenge, run around with 2 pawns that are your level.
Everything you have said about the pawns just sounds awesome to me.
Yeah.
Like
It's so cool.
I haven't found a good way to state it, but I love when games enable me to let them play for me.
Well,
Like
yeah, it's
Assassin's
like-
Creed Brotherhood, like I just used my freaking gang
Yeah.
to kill everything in that game.
Well,
From
it's
that
sort of
point
like
on,
setting your own difficulty. It's like, well,
Yeah.
I'll make this game as hard as I want it to be. And
Yeah.
I really respect that. I think that's, for me, I kind of wanted to play the game and take down some giant dragons and see some cool stuff. And someone's level 128 character helped me do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, super cool. Really, really highly recommend it. And my last game this month is Final Fantasy V for the 4-job Fiesta. I am now on my second run. So there's like 6 or 7 difficulties this year, sort of upping it from the 3 that happened last year. So my first one was I just did a normal, regular run, and I got a really rough part. I got White Mage, Red Mage, Bard, and Dancer.
I
And
think White Mage would be horrible to start out with.
really horrible because you don't have any attacks and you don't have any armor. You can heal yourself, but who cares? Honestly, this is one of the most fun parties that I've had for the 4-job Fiesta, I think, since the beginning. I had no idea how overpowered the Bard is in that game. If you manage to get all the pianos, so for those that haven't played Final Fantasy V, there are 8 pianos in the game. And for anyone, as soon as you see a piano, go up to and hit A, and Bart's will play it poorly at the beginning, and then really well when you get to like 6, 7, and 8. But as you play more of those, and as you talk to more people in the game, you get more songs. And some of them are one-time sort of short bursts, and some of them are continuous plays. And I'd never gotten the last couple in any game because who's going to use a bard? I don't care. Whatever. I got like a knight over here and I got a ninja. Whatever. But there are two there are two songs that are really, really critical. One is Speed Song, which basically makes your characters faster and faster and faster as to sing it. So by in a boss battle, probably by like the 10th, maybe 15th turn, your characters are instantly attacking after they just attacked. So
Oh,
there's
nice.
it's like super haste. Um, and then the other one is Sinew Song, I think it is, and it's a continuous thing as well. That uh, your characters continually get stronger and stronger and stronger as they sing that song. Um, when I was fighting the last boss, my red mage was hitting for 8,000 damage. My dancer with Sword Song was hitting over 10,000 for damage. Like, I've
Jeez.
never had such an easy time with the final boss. And then there are other songs like a song that stops all the enemies all at once, and it's unblockable, unmissable, and as long as as long as the enemy is able to be stopped, it'll stop everyone. Uh, a whole enemy party confuse.
Jeez.
Just like really crazy stuff that I never really. So, like, what I was getting to earlier, and what I really love Final Fantasy V for is abusing and exploiting the base systems of the game. Um, and the bosses are laid out in such a way that no matter what party you have, there's always going to be a way that you can kill them. So there's this thing in the game that once you get to the last third of the game, and once you get the first, you have to collect 4 tablets. Once you get the first one, you can pretty much finish the game at that point. And depending on your party setup, you probably want to get at least one more. But there's this dungeon called Fork Tower in it, and you get both Meteor and Holy if you can finish the tower, and that's the strongest white and the strongest black magic. But the problem with the tower is one side you can only use physical attacks. Everyone is permanently silenced, and the other side you can only use magic. If you use physical on the magic side, either they restart the entire battle like the boss does, or they will hit you with such powerful magic that you're unprepared for, that it will kill you. And the hardest part I was having was it doesn't sound like it, but I had a primarily physical team. So doing the magic side was really tough until I found out that the magic side boss, the one that does return every time you hit him with a physical spell, can be silenced for 1 turn. So what I was doing is one character would use silence, the other character would use dance, since it was the dancer, and do sword dance. So they do about 3,000 damage, and the boss has about 25,000. And just do this, and I found this loophole for the boss attack where I could just completely break this game in a way that the designers had really intended you to, which is really fascinating. So, like, if I had this really weird layout of classes, I can still beat the game, and I did beat the game with a white mage, a red mage, a bard, and a dancer, which sounds like the worst party, but I beat the crap out of that game. And that's why I love the 4-job Fiesta, is you're given such a small setup for your characters, and it's really easy to succeed. One person, there have been, I think, 2 people now that have beat the game as 3 berserkers and 1 white mage, like almost the impossible group, and they have managed to beat the entire game.
Oh, wow.
So you can do anything. So after I finished that, I was like, you know what? It's still the Job Fiesta doesn't finish until the end of August. I've had all this time, and I've been spending most of my time playing Final Fantasy V. Maybe I'll do one of the harder runs. So I was talking about rod breaking earlier. They have a run where you can get it's a no 750 run where you don't get any classes that can break rods. Or you can do a random no 750, which is you get those classes, but you can't break rods, which makes the game much, much, much harder. I didn't want to go crazy like that, so I did a regular random run. There's also a natural run, which is Bartz can only use the wind class. Lena can only use water, so on and so forth. So they can only use one class throughout the entire game. But the one that I did was a random run. So basically, every time you get a crystal, when the Gilgabot rolls for your class, it rolls across all the crystals you have already. So I got one wind job and 3 water jobs. So I got a blue mage, which is awesome because I can break the entire game. Berserker, which has even Gilgabot laughed at me when it gave me that. And then Time Mage and Red Mage. This is a really rough group that I am breezing through this game with. I cleared the first third of the game in around 7 hours, which I think is a new record for me. Because if the Berserker can't kill it with physical attacks, the Blue Mage can take one of their learned spells and just finish the rest of the job. There is a really hard boss at the end of the Earth Crystal dungeon called the Artio Avis. I don't know how you pronounce it. But basically, it changes its elemental affinity rather quickly. And then when you kill it, it comes back to life and has none of those elemental affinities anymore. And is only weak to physical attacks. So it's always this real widowmaker for most people at the end of the first third of the game. Usually it takes me 30 to 45 minutes to beat that boss. It took me 2. Because the Berserker just has so much strength that it just breezed through the first form of that enemy and then hit it 3 times and killed the second form. And then I'm off to the second third of the game. And it's just like, okay, I was really bummed when I broke my own rules. So what I really like doing when I play the Job Fiesta is I'll get to the crystal, I'll get the jobs, and then I'll tweet Gilgabot for what my class is. And then I won't know the next one until I get the next crystal jobs. Because I really like that moment of getting your job and just being like, man, now I gotta go up to this next crystal with this job. Oh my god, I didn't even think. Like, this is like I got White Mage and then Red Mage for my first run. I was like, this is okay so far, and the next one I got was Bard, and I was just like, oh no. Hopefully I get someone really good at the last one. Then I got Dancer, and I was just like, God. But I actually broke my rule this time and got all 4 of them at the same time. And this is a hell of a group, but I'm actually thinking about continuing to play the game up until the end of August when the whole 4-job fiesta is done. Because I'm really having a fun time getting really difficult classes this time, and then really investigating what the bosses are weak to. Like, there's a stat for bosses that's called heavy, and if a boss is not heavy, it can be killed with the summon Odin in one shot. Which, for anyone playing Final Fantasy V, remember that for Twintania. So you just need to make it until that boss starts charging its big spell, and then summon Odin, and it will be dead. If you don't have summons, there is an item in the last third of the game called the Magic Lamp, and when you use it in battle, it summons each one of the summoned monsters in reverse order. So it starts off with Bahamut, it goes to, I don't even know what the second one is, Then it does Odin, then it does Carbuncle, and it does the most powerful ones in reverse order, which is also very important for the second form of the final boss, because the back part of it you can kill with one shot using Odin. So, like, that's an item that most people would never use in a game because they would just bring a summoner in and summon all this stuff. But it's kind of cool breaking the game, saying, well, now I have an item that can do summons that I can recharge at the place I brought it to. So, you know, if you have a strategy for every boss, even if you don't have a summoner, even if you don't have a knight, even if you don't have a bard, you know, there's always some way that you can do something in the game. And that, to me, is the best part of the Fiesta. And for anyone that wants to play it, if you have an iOS device, and I think it's coming out on Android now, if it isn't out already, play the iOS version. It looks a little wonky, admittedly, but it's Final Fantasy V, and I think it's only $15. Toxic Joker in chat said he was finding that it was the Game Boy Advance copies can go for like $85 on Amazon.
Yeah, no, they get it. The trick to Amazon is, you know, you have that right side of the page option where it says see more buying options.
Yeah.
Just go over there, go to used, read the descriptions, decide if you just want the cartridge, you can get it for like 10, 20 bucks tops.
Yeah, there's
if you want it with the
copies out
box, then you can still find it for $20 to $30.
Yeah, if you want all the pieces together, yeah, you're probably going to be spending like $80-$90.
Yeah.
But don't ever play the PS1 version. I cannot say this enough. They gave Ferris this really weird like R pirate accent, which just destroys the game of that. The story is kind of dumb in that game, and it's pretty simple, but it's kind of fun in a classic way. And the PS1 version has loading times, which is just loading times in battles. That's just the worst. The Super NES translation is still pretty okay, but I don't feel like it's as solid as the Game Boy Advance one is. And the GBA and the iOS versions are going to be my recommendations. GBA one for actually playing it with a controller, and the iOS one it's only $15. Sometimes it's $10 on sale. You kind of can't beat that price if you don't have any of the other stuff laying around. But yeah, play the 4-Job Fiesta. I play it every year, and every year it is just an absolute blast. Getting screwed over by the Twitter bot and managing to beat the game.
My next okay. So theoretically, if I beat it this time and like it and go through it again, which I think is decent chances.
Yeah.
Next time, I will take your method and only ask for one job at a time.
I think that's really the recommended way, because I feel like you can fall into the trap of getting a party that seems really bad, but once you get to like the second crystal, you already know your first job by heart. And then you're going to get the second job that 2 people will be now, and then you can sort of say, well, I've got the Black Mage part down. Now I'm going to get this other class. Let me learn how to use that class. And you don't get discouraged at the beginning. I'd say if you're having way too much trouble on this first playthrough, you may want to just play through the game traditionally at the beginning, and get the job system down and get everything, and then maybe the second time go back and play through with the jobs you were assigned. Now that you know all the bosses, now you know the stuff that you have to do, you know the stuff you can skip, because there's a pretty good amount of that game that you can just totally skip if it's not if it won't do anything for your party. Like Fork Tower, if you don't have white or black mages, whatever, you can just skip that whole dungeon and then like the second half of the end of that game.
Oh, wow.
Apparently there's a motorcycle outside. So, let's take a break. I'm going to go close this door real quick. Or window.
I'm going to get some water. Okay. Let's see if Twitch will pull up for me now.
Alrighty. Yeah, I think you got a really interesting set of classes for your run through.
Yeah, I brought in my DS to see if I could go where I'm supposed to real quick. Wow, Twitch won't even let me log in. Okay, and it made me reset my password.
Oh yeah.
I guess I might have been one of these people who've been getting hacked with everyone else.
So you got Black Mage, Beastmaster, Red Mage, and Samurai?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, the nice part is once you get Red Mage, you have solid but not great healing, since you'll have a White Mage. You'll have Black Mage for plenty of damage. Actually, I wonder if Garula is weak to something. Now I want the Water Shrine. Well, it's not weak to anything.
Oh. I guess my save game is from when before I died. I don't even... In the Wind Shrine. Oh, so that means I still haven't fought that weird beginning boss. Okay, good. So now I don't have to worry about someone dying, hopefully.
Oh, the Wing Raptor?
Yeah.
Wing Raptor, you can usually burn that guy pretty quickly. He only has 250 HP. As long as he doesn't have his wings closed.
Yeah, when he changed position, I'm like, I recognize this from every Final Fantasy game ever. And
Yeah.
I will not attack currently.
You actually got some pretty good loot in that dungeon, too. There's a dagger, there's a broadsword.
Is there?
And there's a
I
leather
found a
cap.
rod. Is that good?
Hmm?
I said I found a rod. Is that good?
Yeah,
Ah,
you'll need
crap.
that for a Black Mage.
I
That's
missed
the only
something
weapon they can use.
Oh, okay. And I missed something on the previous floor. Great. I have to go back.
Beastmaster. Oh, wow. Beastmaster. One of their... So the thing about Final Fantasy V is you learn two types of abilities. Regular abilities and then action abilities. The action abilities have an exclamation mark in front of them. And Beastmaster has one called Calm. It calms it says it calms magic beasts, but apparently it's bugged, and it was supposed to only set stop on magic beasts, but it does the opposite. So you can automatically stop anything that isn't a magic beast. That's nuts.
Wow. That sounds great.
Yeah, the two abilities are control, which basically you take control of an enemy and then you use it to attack other enemies, and then catch, which captures a weakened monster and then you release it. You can only hold one monster at a time, but you can release it later.
Okay.
That's
Weird,
cool.
a plane crashed.
Yeah, I was seeing that earlier.
Guess everyone survived? Oh well.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, you have a really interesting... What's samurai? Am I thinking of the right one? Yeah.
Oh, crap. I am so dumb. I'm not paying attention to what I'm holding in my hands, and I look down, I'm like, oh, active time battle.
Oh,
Crap.
crap, everyone's dead.
Yeah, I got one person left, and she's stunned, I guess, maybe? Entangled?
Oh.
Yeah, no, Can I run? I can run. But I doubt I have any means of... Okay, I probably should just reload again and do this sometime when I'm not doing a podcast.
I didn't know that Zenigage is non-elemental and totally unblockable. That's why it's so good. It's 50, so the math formula is damage equals 50 times level times enemies attacked.
Oh, wow.
So if you're like level 50 and attacking 4 enemies, you can see how you're going to be doing a lot of damage. And the final form of the very last boss has 4 parts to it. So that's why people save up a lot of money at the very end and just start dumping. Because if you can really do a lot of damage very quickly if you have multiple party members with that skill on it. Man. Pretty cool.
Man, that does sound nice. Man, Twitch just all sorts of glitched for me. Because it's saying that
having a lot of problems too.
I'm viewing the channel, but I'm not logged in, so I can't chat. Oh well. I tried. I give up.
Chat's pretty dead today anyway. Hi, anyone who's still in chat? I don't know if there is anyone.
It looked like Toxic Joker might still be in there. But
Yeah.
oh man. I gotta tell you, I think I love my Vita, but I think I have my best memories from my Nintendo DS Lite here.
Yeah, me too. I was thinking about that when I was laying in bed. So my girlfriend and I didn't do anything yesterday. I think we went out for like a breakfast at like this sort of greasy spoon we have near us, and we didn't do anything. I played Final Fantasy V on my DS Lite for I think about 7 or 8 hours, sort of while we were laying there on the couch watching Top Chef. And the DS Lite didn't die until like hour 9, I think it was, because I had the brightness turned all the way to the bottom.
Yeah.
And man, like for a handheld that I've played the shit out of for years, and has Final Fantasy V probably stuck in it. I haven't tried to take it out of the handheld for the last couple of years. To just have this thing just soldier on like this is really, really impressive.
It's a tough, like, if I drop my Vita, I'm gonna have a panic attack. If I drop my DS, I know it's gonna still work.
It's gonna bounce, whatever.
Yeah. Could take some dents.
I was just thinking, I bought, I haven't talked about it on the show, but I bought, an import copy of Saga 2, that Final Fantasy Legend 2 remake that came out in Japan.
Yeah.
And I bought, one of those SD card chippy things. I don't know what it is. I've been meaning to play it through on there because I felt badly about like downloading and pirating it without having an actual copy.
Yeah.
Because I'm weird. Everyone else is like, whatever.
I'm kind of like that.
Well, I mean, where it's reasonable.
Man, I forgot. I played another RPG too that I forgot to talk about
Which one?
very briefly. Because speaking of this very situation, mine. Well, I won't go into details about it, but I played Shadowrun for Super Nintendo
Oh, nice.
very briefly.
I was trying to look for that when I was buying Super NES and Genesis games, and Shadowrun was always
I
a
thought you got
little
that.
more expensive than I wanted. Oh no, I got it for Genesis. Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
wanted the Super NES one too because I remember as part of the console wars back then, it was always like, well, Shadowrun's better. The Super NES.
I thought they were completely different games, actually,
I
weren't
think
they?
they were, but when
Yeah,
back during those dark ages.
yeah.
All
I
right, you ready to knock the second segment out here?
Let's do it.
Twitch support just sent a tweet out that says site services are all back in action, but that does not appear to be the case.
Well, it's running a lot better than it did at the beginning of this cast. So,
Yeah. All right. Let's knock this out in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk RPG releases for July 2013. First and foremost, and most importantly, Shin Megami Tensei 4 coming out on the 16th for the 3DS.
woo!
So pumped. Don't forget that this is a premium priced game, as they call it. So the limited edition is 50, and I think the regular one is 40.
And the limited comes with a nice little like mini strategy guide.
Yep. And
Like
an
I don't
art
think it's a
book and
complete one,
soundtrack.
but
Yeah, it's coming with a little bit more stuff than they usually do. So that's
you'll
pretty
want
nice.
it if it's anywhere near difficult as the other main franchise games. So,
Yeah. Next game is one that I was 100% sure was never going to be coming out in the U.S., and that is Time and Eternity, also coming out on the same day for the PS3. I will save you the time and research and money. Do not buy this game. One of the worst RPGs ever made. It is on the level of Chaos Wars. If any of you know that one. So
I know the name and never bought it. That was one of those original DS import titles, wasn't it?
no, that was a PS2 game that's known as having the worst voice acting of any
Oh.
game ever. This game is basically touted as like playing an anime, basically, but your character is basically stuck in one pose for the entire game, and apparently the voice acting is really atrocious. So I do not understand how this came out over here, but don't buy it. Save yourself. And on the 25th, Shadowrun Returns coming out for the PC. Yay!
I'm ready.
I'm excited. I think I'm gonna pick that up. I didn't kickstart it, but I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with a modern Shadowrun.
Well, and man, you see, I kickstarted at a low level and then I ordered the collector's edition. So I'm going to have an extra Steam key I'm going to want to give away somewhere, probably here.
Yeah, probably.
So, but like I'm real excited. Like, because it sounds like such an absurd world to make, and for the budget they have, I'm not expecting like anything super grand, but
Yeah.
I'm glad it exists and is coming out, and I hope it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Let's move on to news stories here. Not too much that came out of E3 this year, but there's a couple of things that are sprinkled in here. Monolith's X coming to Wii U in 2014. If you don't know Monolith Soft, they are the team that recently made Xenoblade Chronicles, which easily one of the best games on the Wii and one of the best RPGs to come out in a long time. They are coming out with a game called X for Wii U for 2014. Looks pretty similar to Xenoblade Chronicles.
Looks like Xenoblade plus mechs.
Yeah, so sign me the hell up.
Man, they're like open world, and guess what? I'm just gonna hop in this mech that's on this cliff and
Yep.
go kill some things. Like it's
Really, that and Bayonetta 2 are probably going to be the reason I buy a Wii U eventually, so...
Yeah,
more
whenever they
RPGs,
announce-
please.
when they announce the release date for that, I'm gonna bite the bullet, and I'm also going to hope. I say that. Do Wii games work on the Wii U?
Yes. You have to,
Oh.
like, boot into the Wii menu, and then load it from there.
Ugh.
Yeah.
But okay.
It's a little much, but
I
you
can
know.
deal.
Yeah, yeah,
At least it's there.
yeah. Next news story: parent company of Atlas, Index, files for bankruptcy. They filed for reorganization, which apparently is the Japanese version of bankruptcy, along with. There's been a lot of other claims going around this. What's the other claim? Is oh, they're also being investigated for fraud.
Hmm.
So apparently there's some family ties that are around that Index Holdings company that now owns Atlas. Really weird, really fishy sounding stuff. Atlas Japan says it's still coming out with the scheduled games, and they don't sound very concerned about their fate. And Atlas US says whatever, doesn't bother us at all. We're totally unaffected. So look forward to SMT4. Yay.
Well, and Atlas US, I guess, would primarily be a publisher. And
Yeah.
Japan would be the devs that are making our beloved Shin Megami Tensei series.
Right. And I'm sure that if Index Holdings was to fold, somebody would snatch up Atlas almost immediately if they needed to be snatched up.
I would hope that they'd have they've gotten so much goodwill with all these niche markets,
Yeah.
and with Index failing and not Atlas's finances failing, I think that's significant to say that they're still doing it somehow.
Yeah.
So
Maybe Square will buy them and they'll just make all the RPGs now.
oh God, as long as they keep their cutscenes out of my
Yeah, exactly.
my games,
Out of
I'm
my
all right with the
SMT.
cutscenes we have, but
Yeah.
I feel like that's what Square does when they get a new franchise, like what they did with Deus Ex. Like, I like the Deus Ex Human Revolution cutscenes, but a lot of them are like, I was like, why can't I just play through this?
Yeah,
like,
why do we have to have this?
yeah.
Next news story here: World of Warcraft exploring, quote unquote, in-game purchases. So, for those that are listening that maybe never played WoW, they have two versions of World of Warcraft. One is the release one, which is all the current up-to-date stuff. Then they have something called PTR, Player Test Realm. It's basically beta testing for the brand new patch, and anybody can get into it. And they spin up your character and test out all the cool stuff. Most people don't try it. I've gotten the impression that a lot of people that do really hardcore raiding try it, so they can figure out how they're going to do their new build as soon as the new patch comes out. Somebody saw in some store somewhere there was language for purchasing an XP booster. And I haven't seen screenshots, but someone said, like, oh, it's a 24-hour, 100% XP booster. But it was for actual real-world money, and it wasn't for in-game money. Blizzard's senior community representative Jonathan Zarum Brown confirmed in a forum post that the developer is, quote, currently exploring the possibility of adding a way for players in certain regions to make purchases directly within the game, end quote. And said also, we'll provide additional updates on our plans as development progresses. I don't think this is too surprising, but I think the thing that a lot of people are getting upset about at the moment is you should have either subscription or free-to-play with in-game purchases. Once you start talking about doing both, I would hope as part of this they would drop the monthly subscription. I think that would make people a lot happier.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about doing both, that seems what the internet seems to be feeling is that seems rather greedy of Blizzard.
I would feel that way if, yeah, I don't.
It leaves you with a weird feeling.
Entirely.
Yeah, I don't. I'm sort of still holding out hope that.
Isn't like the first 20 or so levels of WoW free to play right now?
I think 2030, something like that. So like the first almost half of the game at this point.
Okay.
So it seems natural to me that it would be fairly easy to make the rest of it free to play, or at the very least lock some of the raids behind a paywall or something. It seems like there's still ways for them to monetize WoW until Titan comes out.
Or just drop the paywall altogether and just have
Hmm.
in-app purchases.
Yeah, have a lot of in-app boosters and costume
I don't know.
dyes or something.
As much as I really don't like in-app purchases, I also don't like monthly fees, and I don't know which evil to choose because in-app purchases, I feel, especially if you can get them in game, they kind of prey on people's weaknesses to a degree,
Hmm.
you know, which I don't appreciate, but at the same time, you know, some people genuinely don't care and are completely fine with spending that money.
Well, and
I'm
there's
not.
always been this barrier of entry with the subscription costs that when WoW was coming out, I was surprised at how many people were saying like, "Man, that game looks totally sick," but I'm not paying $15 a month to play it. It's like, well, why? You know, like it's paying for service, paying for bandwidth, it's paying for support team,
Yeah,
and they would go, "Well, that makes sense," but I'm still not going to pay a monthly charge for a game. And it's like I feel like some of that has eased, but I can't imagine the number of people that would play WoW. You know, you've seen uh, the Star Wars MMO. You've seen
yeah,
what was the last one? Rift went free to play, and they're saying Age of or Conan the Barbarian, Age of Conan. Uh, those got like 250% more people and like 150% more profits after they went free to play. I couldn't imagine how many more people would play WoW if it was free.
yeah.
You know?
Well, and you know, they could just do like make it free and just have like a premium content section, like you were saying earlier.
Sure, yeah.
Like, I would think that'd be nice. Have like a prestige area for monthly payers who want to pay like 5 to 15 or whatever a month, and you
Right.
get, or like maybe the free account only comes with one character, and the paid account comes with like
Yeah.
I,
Pay
I don't know what a
$5 to
reasonable
get
number
another
is.
character slot. Something like
Yeah,
that. Or, you know, like pay $10 and you get the raids out in Outland. Pay $15, you get the raids out in, you know, the Northrend stuff. You
mm,
know, if you don't want to play that stuff, fine. If you do, $10 and you get them all. You know, something. There's plenty of ways to do it, at least.
yeah. I'll tell you, the people I feel bad for are the Star Trek Online people who bought the lifetime pass.
Yeah, it's my impression that they still get a lot of really cool stuff, even though they paid for it a lot. They paid a lot of money up front for that thing. I think it was like
Yeah.
$200 or something.
Yeah, it was something ridiculous,
Yeah,
like 2 or 300. It was a lot.
yeah. I mean, it was a good deal at the time if they were going to continue with the monthly subscriptions. But it's my impression now that they get like there was a new expansion pack that came out, and they got a bunch of extra stuff for being lifetime subscribers. So they're still giving those people stuff other than money back. Let's move on. Next news story here. Final Fantasy VII is now on Steam, so you don't have to deal with the horrible Square Enix store to buy this game. Um, I played it a little bit when it came out on PC. It has Steam achievements. There are a bunch of graphical mods. It's like $12. So, if you ever wanted to play Final Fantasy VII, there's pretty much no reason not to at this point. I think it works with the 360 controller as well. So,
Mm.
give it a shot. Hopefully, 8 comes out on PC. Because not enough people played that one.
I feel like that one would be a really good one to do an HD remake because I feel like it would upscale really well.
Yeah, and it came out on PC originally. Eidos put out both 7 and 8
Yeah,
on PC.
I owned 8 for PC and never could get it to work. 7 I played all the way through on PC, but the version of 7 I had only allowed you to use your numpad.
That was the default version. That was how Final Fantasy VII on PC played. That was
Yeah.
terrible.
Ugh.
Yeah, one of
Yeah.
the just an atrocious PC port. Oof. Next news story here. Atlas US encourages players to register their copy of SMT4 with Club Nintendo. The Atlas Faithful emails, which are pretty much the best emails that a video game company sends, um, sent a video of them unboxing the limited edition the other day. I thought it was really interesting, and I wanted to spread the word here. They said at the bottom, and we're not joking about registering the game with your Club Nintendo account. It's really important that you do so. Trust us. So, I don't know who's publishing this game for them. Maybe it's Nintendo here in the U.S. But if Atlas says it helps them do something if you register your code, please register your code because
Yeah.
When a small niche company like this says that that helps them, they're not like getting advertising money or something. They're trying to get more games here. So please, if you buy a copy of SMT4, if you buy it digitally, make sure your Club Nintendo account is registered in your eShop for your 3DS, which is a really confusing process. But if you
God,
buy
I didn't know you had to do that.
yeah, I thought it would work out of the box, and nope. But if you buy it physically, you just have that little piece of paper in there. Just register that bad boy in there. Next news story: Warrior's Lair canceled. This was a game I had sort of unfortunately forgotten about. When the Vita was getting announced at E3, they announced this as Ruin. And this was the really cool third-person Diablo-style RPG
Oh, right.
that was cross-play and cross-buy. And they had the whole cloud-saving thing, and they had that cool thing on the stage where they played it on the Vita, they saved their game, they hopped over to the PS3, loaded their game from the cloud, and they were at the exact same spot. Regrettably, the game was canceled this past week, with really no explanation other than Sony Computer Entertainment can confirm that Warrior's Lair for PS Vita is no longer in development, and then went on to say the PS3 version has been canceled as well. So that's a super bummer. That could have been a really cool multiplayer game, especially when they were talking about invading your friends' list's dungeons. That seemed really super cool.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it just there was never any press about it after that announcement happened. So either it never came together or the studio had troubles. We may never know. But that's a real bummer for for both of those platforms. That game could have been really cool. But speaking of PS Vita games and PS3 games, Final Fantasy X HD has an extra 30-minute ending on it. A new 30-minute drama will be added to the game's ending sequence. So it sounds like, while the credits are rolling, sort of Final Fantasy VIII style, there's going to be some stuff going on. Written by the original game scenario writer and voiced by the original cast members, but no news what might be in that extra ending. That's kind of cool. I kind of like that. The game itself, I don't know, Musum, I don't know if you've seen any screenshots of it lately.
No, I haven't looked any up.
Man, that game looks sharp as hell. I hope it's gonna turn out really well, as long as they can keep the frame rate pretty solid. And I feel like not enough people played 10, and especially didn't play 10-2, even though for anyone that likes Final Fantasy V, guess what job system is in 10-2? I'm really excited for people to play both these games. I think it's going to look really outstanding on PS3, and I think the Vita versions are going to look really, really super, especially on that screen. And it's just nice to play more Final Fantasy games again. I'm part of the problem. I will buy these. You remastered Final Fantasy game. Okay.
I've never played through it, so
Yeah.
I'm intending on getting a version of it. I hope they do like a cross-buy thing with it. I doubt
Unfortunately,
they
it
will.
doesn't look like they are.
Ugh.
Because the PS3 version has both games in it, and then PS Vita,
Oh.
they're selling both games individually, because I think that both of them are pretty big.
See, the problem is Final Fantasy X is one of the few RPGs that Susie likes, so that makes me feel like I need to get it for like PS3.
Right.
But for me, I think I need to play that game on my Vita.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see when
Just
the time
gotta
comes.
get all the copies.
Yep. I'll be even more of a part of the problem.
Yeah. Alright, that's all of our news stories. Let's move on to emails and tweets. We don't have any emails, but tweets, we have a bunch of ones here from Toxic Joker here. First one, hey guys, first time listener to PUP. Thank you very much. My question is fairly simple. What order should I play Borderlands 2 DLC in? Honestly, I'd say just play them in order. They seem rather suited for that progression. Definitely, you have to play the Tiny Tina one last because of the difficulty and the spoilers. And I think you should probably save the Hammerlock's Hunt one for third, just because of the difficulty. But I'd just play them in order. Screw it. I don't know about you, Musim.
I still haven't played the Hammerlock Hunts or Tiny Tina, but the two I have played, I vote for order too.
Yeah.
Because Torg, in my opinion, is quite a bit more funny than Scarlet's Booty, and I think
Yeah.
if you play Torg first, then you'll be a little bit disenfranchised with Scarlet's Booty.
Yeah, and I think Scarlet has better loot at the end of it.
Oh,
With, like,
man,
that
that's such a
pyramid
great ending.
chest.
That's how
Yeah.
every Bordersland thing ever should end.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'd say play it in order. It would be my recommendation. He says, okay, lightning round questions. Musim, rank best to worst. Skyrim, Mass Effect 3, Borderlands 2.
Ah, jeez. That's hard. Skyrim, Borderlands 3, and he said Mass Effect 2?
Mass Effect 3 and Borderlands 2.
Oh, Mass Effect 3. Well, I hate to say it, Mass Effect 3 would have to be at the bottom of the list, I think. And Borderlands 2 or Skyrim. We're talking two games, both of, like,
That's a
I'm full
tough
of
choice.
Steam right now. Both of them I put over 100 hours into, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Skyrim, definitely. Borderlands 2, I might just be at the cusp of 100 hours. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But I'm still at like 98 minimum.
Yeah.
Man, I don't... I suck at this. I really don't want to
What
decide,
does your
honestly,
gut
because
say?
they're... Do what?
What does your gut say?
My gut tells me that they're two completely different games
Yeah.
that I play for entirely different reasons. Like, so I'm comparing like pie versus steak.
I'm gonna throw out a suggestion for you. I'm gonna say your list is Borderlands 2, Skyrim, Mass Effect 3. Because Skyrim had DLC that didn't work or was too buggy and hurt the game.
Good point. Very good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Hearthfire broke too many people's games. It hurt mine a bit. I had to seek out fan patches to fix it. So,
See, you
yeah,
can't be the top of the list with messy stuff like that.
absolutely. That almost makes me want to put it third now, but oh well. Yeah, continue on.
And he says, for me, Boston, best to worst, Ni no Kuni, Persona 4 Golden, Alpha Protocol. So, off my gut, Persona 4 Golden, of course, Ni no Kuni, and Alpha Protocol. As much as I love Alpha Protocol, I think because Persona 4 Golden has to be at the top because it's one of the best RPGs ever made. Like, real talk. Ni no Kuni, I think, has to be second because it's just so well made and so cohesive throughout the entire thing. And I have to put Alpha Protocol at the bottom because it's, of course, the hidden gem of this list. But I think a lot of technical problems hold it back, where the other two games really don't have any. But everyone should play all three of those. But Persona 4 Golden first. And I think that's it we have for questions and everything. So thank you very much, everyone, for listening. You can visit us at pickingupthepixels.com. You can tweet us at pickingupPixels. Email us at fans@pickingupthepixels.com. Watch the live stream every month. Technical difficulties this month, sorry. But that's twitch.tv/E1M1 Network. You can watch if you didn't make it live, you can watch the archives here and at YouTube. Listen to Musim's shows at thecarouselpodcast.com. If you like his music, go pick it up at listentomusim.com and bandcamp.com/musim. Musim.bandcamp.com.
Yes.
They both probably work. Try one of them. And you can listen to my other shows, that video game podcast at tvgp.tv and Dynamic Soundtrack, which is still up there for everyone at dynamicsoundtrack.com. Thank you very much for joining me again, Musim.
Pleasure as always.
And our adventure continues next month. Yay! Now I can open up the door again in this horribly hot room.
Yeah. Here.
All right,
All
thank you
right.
very much, everyone, for joining us on the live stream. We'll see you all next month. Bye.